Hi, I'm Peter Vicari. Just a little introduction to my videos about my Moody 31 Mark II and a little bit of an update about what's going on this autumn day. I've come down to the sailing club this morning and I'm going to go out and spend the day on the boat. It's looking like quite a nice day. Actually, the forecast was it would be quite cloudy, so we'll see what happens. It's now the 8th of October, so it's getting to pretty much the end of the season. I'm hoping to go out maybe this weekend. It's looking very calm, so there won't be a lot of fast sailing, I don't think. But it could be a nice gentle day, gentle weekend. I don't know what's going to happen yet. But in the meantime, I'm going to spend the night on the boat. I'm coming down early morning, working on board, using Jenny J as an office, as I do, and then back tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, it should be a nice couple of days on the boat, just chilling. Really calm conditions. There's high pressure and it's very, very peaceful out on the water when it's like this. So I really look forward to that, and might get some photos, might do a bit of video of what's around, maybe a bit of the wildlife. I'll see what I can come up with. So here's a typical tender of stuff to going out to the boat. It's a little bit more than usual because it's the autumn and there's preparation for the winter. So I've got my pump here to pump out engine oil, because this is the time of the year just before she comes out of the water we'll change the oil. It's absolutely the best time to do that. My 4.5 tog duvet on board is really not up to the job at this time of the year, so I've bought myself a 10.5 double, which should be nice. Bag of stuff. My fuel filter, which I put some more diesel in the tank, so I'm topping it up at the moment to make sure it's as full as possible before the end of the season. It seems to be the right thing to do. My boots for launching the dinghy, food, and I've got some ice in there because I don't plan to start the fridge up. It's quite cool. I think that's going to keep things cold enough. Challenging my battery too much at this time of the year shouldn't be a good thing to do. Couple of old cans there for engine oil and coolant, and obviously the trusty outboard, oars, and all of my stuff, so camera and my laptop and batteries to run the laptop, because again I've got some big batteries that I can use. Again, if I don't have to, I don't want to use more power from my house battery than I need to, so that's what that's for. Anyway, I'm going to trundle down to the water. All right. There are the boats, and Jenny J out there in the middle of the shot, completely stationary on this quiet morning. So I just walked the trolley back up to its place. Here we are, just sitting in Thorny Channel, drifting. All I can hear, apart from the noisy birds, really all I can hear is the A27, which must be about 2 miles away. It's that constant hum. And I often don't use the engine, I bring it along. If I look ahead, you can plan when and whether you need it really with the tide. Well, here we are, arrived. Waterline is looking distinctly grubby. I haven't this year managed to do what I usually manage to do, and that is to take her to East Head and give her a scrub in the middle of the summer. Anyway. Okay, so here I am on the boat. And as I said, it's early October, well, coming on to mid-October actually. It's like, I think it's the 8th, well, yeah, whatever. It's the 8th of October, and it's very kind of gentle down here, middle of high pressure. And I've come down to work on board, and I just thought I'd run through a few things which you might find interesting. Obviously, this is the time of the year when, for me, the boat's going to be coming out of the water. 21st of October is the date booked for it. Could be a little earlier than that. And it's now looking at all these jobs that need to happen. There's maintenance and there are actual projects. So I'll just run through, as you know, you might find it interesting, the actual list of maintenance that I'm going to be looking at this winter. It's far from exhaustive, and there's all sorts of things that, you know, get done on boats that this list doesn't include. But for me this winter, these are the things that I'll definitely be doing anyway, possibly some others. So starting very soon, engine oil and engine oil filter, that's a really important one. End of the season, the exhaust gases that end up creating carbon deposits inside the engine are very destructive. The engine oil does a fantastic job of soaking all that up, and it ends up eventually becoming, you know, saturated with those things. So that's why we have to change our engine oil regularly. And doing it at the end of the season is really good, because it means that the engine has got nice new protective oil sitting there over the entire winter period, because that's, you know, when the engines are not being used. So that's why I do it this time of the year. It is recommended that it happens at the end of the season. Engine oil and filter. Then there's gearbox oil, which needs to be done once a season as well. In my gearbox, it's an it's automatic transmission fluid, ATF fluid, which I will replace. 2 lots of fuel filters. Probably do that in the spring. It's not urgent this time of the year. But yeah, the main engine fuel filter on the engine itself, and the kind of fuel separator filter, which is near the the fuel tank. That will get done. Then there's the coolant. Coolant hasn't been changed for at least a couple of seasons. That definitely needs to be done. Again, that does deteriorate after a while if it doesn't get replaced. It stops doing its job properly. The impeller, that's the raw water impeller, which spins round, driven by the engine to pump raw water through the engine into the heat exchanger, where the actual coolant of the engine, because it's a two coolant system engine. It doesn't just use raw water, it uses coolant as well. So making sure that whole process of water coming up under the boat through the impeller and out eventually into the exhaust system, that's all clear and clean and not corroding. It needs to be checked. And the impeller, I just change it every year. I mean, some people keep them, but I just think for what it costs, you just change it, keep a spare. Yeah, that's going to probably get done in the spring as well. I'll probably take the old one out when the engine gets laid up. And then we put coolant into the raw water side of the engine coolant system as well, because that helps protect it. So yeah, getting fresh water and then coolant in there for the season. What else have we got on my list? Air filter needs doing. It hasn't been done for a long time. It probably doesn't need doing, but I'm going to change it. They're not expensive. Then what else? Yeah, so life jackets need to be serviced over the winter. That's something that happens, checking them all, weighing the gas canisters, making sure that they are in good order, and all of the kind of everything, inflate them all and make sure that they are stay inflated for a good period of time. So that's got to be serviced, including the, you know, I've got these little gadgets in 2 of ours which connect to the radio. I can't remember what the terminology is. Anyway, it's one of the little ones that have got one of those gadgets in them. For if you go overboard, you can spot where they are if you're on the boat. Not much good if you're not on the boat or if there's nobody on the boat, but yeah, so those are quite good. Then the anodes, so there's an engine anode which I have literally just changed, probably change that twice a season. Again, those I've been told can sometimes look as if they're okay, even when there's, you know, when they can be quite corroded inside. So again, they're not expensive. I just change them twice a year. Really important to make sure that you're not kind of sacrificing the engine when the anode should do the job. And then the ones on the prop shaft and under the boat, again, same thing. Keeping an eye on those, making sure that they are, you know, they're you know, in good enough condition. Gas certificate probably ought to be done every year. I missed it last season, but I'm going to get the gas system just checked again and get a certificate for that this winter too. So that's the maintenance list that I've got for this coming winter. There are obviously loads of other things. I mean, I probably should be servicing the winches. They don't get a lot of seawater over them. I think every couple of winters is probably fine. They're in pretty good order. We did them a year before last, so this winter probably should, but I'll see, maybe not. Standing rigging hasn't been done for a good while, and I think that's going to be next year. That's going to be, I think, next season. Then there's the projects. Well, the projects for this winter are, as I have talked about before, there are the windows which I'm going to be changing. There's vinyl lettering on the stern of the boat. I've changed. I've taken some old vinyls off. I've got some new typeface that I want to use for the words Jenny J, which I think it'll look a lot better. So I'm planning to do that. There's a smart shunt which I'm going to be doing, which I've talked about before. I'm going to be putting an aqua filter under the sink so that I can actually have drinking water from the water tank, which is a really useful thing to do. It means that I'm not carrying fresh water in bottles onto the boat, which is not a big deal, but it would be nice to be able to just drink water and use it more freely from the tank. Then the ensign pole is looking a bit crummy. It's not on the boat at the moment, but I'm going to renovate that. It's pretty straightforward, needs a bit of varnish. As do the washboards. I did them brand new, brand new. When I bought the boat, they were in terrible condition, and I have, I've varnished them, and they're looking pretty good. This is now getting quite matte. It shouldn't have a nice gloss like the inside surface does. So I'll just give that a light sanding and another couple of coats of varnish, I think, over the winter, and obviously the other one as well. And then I've got a couple of fenders need replacing and a bit of tidying up on the tender. Tender is looking a little bit sad. Fenders are broken in place, not broken, but they're just grubby, and they just need a bit of work. The tender gets well used and needs a bit of bit of TLC sometimes, so that too. So that's my, again, non-exhaustive list of winter projects. I think I should be able to manage all of that lot this winter. Boat comes out at Dell Quay, and most of that stuff's really kind of straightforward to do from there. So yeah, so that's the plan. the last of the sun on this October afternoon. It started off very grey, but actually turned out to be a beautiful day. Managed to charge my batteries, keep the power going into the old lead acid under the floor. Well, just doing some dinner, and nothing really to report. I'm not going to go through Gary's chunky chicken again. This is actually a variation. It's the steak version, but you've had enough of that, I know. Anyway, I thought I'd just sum up today, which has been a really nice day. I've managed to maintain the house battery at it's actually now above the charge it was when I started out, and that includes running the router all day, charging the laptop a little bit with it, running the diesel heater for about 2 or 3 hours this morning. I discovered by doing a bit of some research and actually testing by actually using the voltmeter on the battery, that it really uses very little charge, very little current once it's running, and if you keep it relatively low. And today it was probably 15 or 16 degrees outside, and with the heater running at almost on its minimum setting, it was about 21 to 22 degrees in here, which was just lovely. So that's been a real success. And yeah, I mean, I haven't overcharged. I didn't put the fridge on. The fridge is at the moment, it's just had my stuff that I brought in this morning, and I put some freezer packs in here and a bottle of water that was frozen overnight. It's still got ice in it. The temperature in the bottom of the fridge here is about 4 degrees. I've got these freezer packs as well, which I brought. So it's worked incredibly well. I just brought them in a bag, bunged it all in there. It's been fine. Fridge isn't on at all. So that's worked really well. So on the kind of whole battery usage story, it's worked very well today. No complaints. And tomorrow I will undoubtedly be running the heater for several hours, 3 or 4 hours I expect, whilst the day hopefully slightly warms up. And as you saw a little earlier, today the sun did come out this afternoon. It was lovely, really, really nice. It didn't get very warm out there, but it was certainly very nice. And now with the cooking, it's still 22 degrees in here, so very, very comfortable. I bought myself, as I mentioned earlier, a 7.5 tog duvet, because my 4.5 really isn't up to this time of the year, and now I've got the 4.5 I can put over the top if I get cold. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to be having some dinner. My 1-pot dish be good, and yeah, looking forward to the rest of the evening. It's now 7:10, and I watch a bit of TV, which I'm doing at the moment. One show. I might watch a video later on. Came down yesterday to kind of talk a bit about my plans for the winter. It's October, and obviously to spend a bit of time working on the boat, which I've done. And it's been really lovely. Last night, as you would have seen from some of those clips, it was a beautifully clear night, absolutely stunning, stunning conditions. Very, very still. Full moon, high overhead. It was just gorgeous. But I think this has been a little bit about me just re-evaluating or evaluating properly the use of my heater and how much power it consumes, which once it's running, and now that I know I can turn the heat right down to its lowest setting, it still comes out pretty warm and uses about, I think, about an amp or even slightly less than an amp of electricity while it's running like that. And certainly with this solar panels running, even if it's not brilliant sunshine, kind of pretty much matches what the draw is on the heater, so you could run it a lot, you know, without fear of draining the battery, is what I'm really saying, because it seems to keep the boat nice and warm. The ambient temperature yesterday afternoon was probably about 15 or 16 degrees. Today it's going to be higher. This is an absolutely gorgeous day today. Again, completely still air, no need for the heating today. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, and this morning I woke up, turned the heating on and put 2 rings on, one for some tea and the other one some hot water to shave, and literally in 10 minutes it was 18 degrees. It was fabulous, and not that long after 21. So altogether a really successful little couple of days on the boat. I'll be going home again today in a couple of hours. We've got spring tides at the moment, so it's really, really high tides and really low, of course. I'll be managing to get up to the slipway, our little slipway, which is over in the background there. You probably can't see it with this really wide lens, but means we can get to the dinghy part that just a little bit easier. And yeah, and then a couple of days' time going off to Bembridge for a night with a friend of mine, or a cousin of mine, just for a last little jaunt before Jenny J comes out of the water for the winter. Anyway, that's yeah, it's been a good couple of days on board. Yeah, I hope you found it helpful and enjoyable to watch, and thank you very much for watching.